What's up, YouTubers? How are you guys today? So, my name is Katrina. I wanted to jump on here and give you some information regarding life insurance. So, I wanted to talk about how a life insurance policy works. So, how that works is you would find either an insurance agent like myself or an insurance company, and you would of course let them know what your plan is, far as what ideas you have for your money and for your death benefit, which is the amount of money you want to have to cover your funeral expenses or go to your beneficiary. So you would just let them know what your plans are. They would find a policy that fits exactly what you're looking for. And I know a lot of times people don't like to talk about life insurance policies because it sounds real down and out. It sounds like, oh, woe is me. I'm not going to be here, so woo woo woo. But actually, it's a way to start or build generational wealth for your loved ones that's preceding you. So, I mean, I would think about it that way. If you don't know, I did have some family members that was real close to me that passed away, and that's how I ended up getting into the insurance industry. So I understand it because I've lost some loved ones. And I know that I would want to have something in place for my children and my grandchildren so that they would have a head start with their future endeavors. So I think about it that way. I know sometimes people think about, oh, I'm not going to be here, woo woo woo. And really, I wouldn't think about it like that. Like, you have loved ones that's going to be here, and they're going to need something to keep going. They're going to be grieving your loss, and they need to have a way to continue going or have stuff in place. So if you have a life insurance policy, and let's say you own a business or you own a home, that home can support them and take care of them. They can either live in that home or they could use that home as a residence to have a rental property to profit off and make sure they have some funds in their pocket, moving forward every day of their life, and that house can stay in the family and make sure no one is homeless, so I would think of it that way versus the dark and gloomy side, which you can think of if that's what you chose to do or you choose to do also. But there are great benefits. Also, there are good benefits which are called life benefits or living benefits, that's included with some life insurance policies while you're alive. There are some like short-term disability, long-term disability, even chronic terminal illness benefits. If you were to get sick and terminally ill, you would have benefits that will help support you with your finances during that time. There's a cash value policy that you can have that build a certain amount of money for you, and you can use that money to borrow from your life insurance policy and invest it in something that's going to make you more money, or use it to, I don't know, purchase another property or whatever you're needing to use that money for. You will have access to that. So, I mean, it's a lot of great things that you could utilize your life insurance policy for. And it's not always needing a life insurance policy to take care of your family members when you pass away. It's a lot of great benefits there. Also, there are policies that are called the IUL, which is an index universal life insurance policy that can help you with retirement. So you can invest money into that policy just like you would a 401k. And when you retire, you'll have great bit of funds to live off of. Most people nowadays can't afford to live off just a 401k or a retirement policy. So if you have an IUL policy, that can set you up real great once you retire. So, I mean, it's a lot of great benefits with life insurance that people don't even talk about. And a lot of times people don't even want to think about because they think about just passing away or dying. But so I wanted to just go over and mention some of those things just to make you aware in case you don't know of how a life insurance policy can help you in so many ways. So there are two types of life insurance policies mainly. You have a permanent policy and you have a temporary policy. Most people have a temporary policy. That policy is through their employer, and they usually have it for about 10, 15, 30 years or until they leave that employer. And once they leave that employer, they don't have that coverage anymore. One reason in particular would be because the policy would increase after you lose that group benefit, because you receive the policy based on your employer and the number of people your employer have to give to this insurance company. So your policy is going to be cheaper because it's so many people that this insurance company is I don't know why I'm wanting to say use, but so the insurance company has the option to have multiple customers at one time from the job, so you get a group discount pretty much for your policy. So you pay less than you may pay on your own, maybe depending on your age and depending on your health. But if you were to leave that company or that employer, then you won't have access to that policy anymore or that monthly premium. So if you were to keep the policy, leave the company, keep the policy, your policy may increase, and it may be cheaper for you to get a policy on your own with a higher death benefit than keeping that same policy that's going to increase and you pay more than you did when you was at the job. So I hope that didn't confuse you too much. But there are permanent policies as well. Permanent policies would be considered like a whole life policy where you can have that policy for your lifetime. Now, the amount of your monthly premium, which is how much you would pay for that policy, all depends on your age and your health, basically, and where you're located. So that's just a universal thing all across the board. I like to say the younger you are, the less expensive it'll be for you to receive a life insurance policy. So you always want to get a policy on your loved ones that are young, because they'll be able to pay that policy or pay on that policy forever at that low monthly premium, versus you being older, probably have some health problems, your policy is going to be a whole lot higher. Now, I do know a lot of people like to get term policies, which is a great benefit to have. You know, if you're 40 years old and you are approved for a 30-year policy, that gives you until you're about 70 years old to have a policy in place, so in case you were to pass away or something. So that's a great benefit to have for your loved ones. Now, with the whole life policy, which is a permanent policy, there is an option called a cash value. So each time you pay on that policy, as the years go by, you accumulate a cash value that you could borrow from. So let's say you needed a certain amount of money for whatever reason, and you go to your bank and your bank denies you for that loan. You can borrow from your whole life policy whatever is available in that cash value amount, and you'll get approved for that versus having to be approved for a loan at a bank. Now, if you don't pay that money back that you borrow from your life insurance policy, it will be deducted from the death benefit, which is the payout benefit if you were to pass away. So you do have to keep that in mind, because if you don't pay it back and you pass away, let's say the death benefit is $100,000 and you borrowed $30,000. So your family would get $70,000, not $100,000. So you do have to think about it that way. If you have multiple beneficiaries on the policy, then they would split 70,000 versus 100,000. So you just have to keep that in mind there. I always say, if you're going to borrow from your life insurance policy, invest some of those funds into something that would create more income for you, so you could pay that amount of money back to your insurance policy, and then at least you could keep that, because then you could borrow again and invest again. So that's just some things to think about when it comes to life insurance policies. I know a lot of times people don't like to think about it, but it is helpful to think about it ahead of time versus leaving your family without. Let's say you have young children, you have children under the age of 18, and something was to happen to you. Where would your children go? How would they be supported? What would happen to your mortgage, to your house that you were purchasing? What would happen to your property, your land, your car? What would happen to these things? So you want to set that up in a way that your family members would be able to secure these assets and either use them to make a profit to continue taking care of them, or to benefit your family in some way, because if not, then the state can take your property, and you don't want that to happen. I'm sure you don't want that to happen. So having life insurance can help you out in so many ways, and can help you out while you're alive versus not just when you pass away. So I hope this was helpful in learning about life insurance and the different types of life insurance. Now, I only went over a couple because there's so many more. You could use the life insurance to help you with paying off a property. That's mortgage protection. It's so many ways that life insurance can help you and your family build generational wealth, or at least keep assets in your family. Now, that can happen for you. You don't have to be a millionaire to make that happen. You just have to understand what a lot of other people won't take time to understand. So you would just need to speak with a financial advisor like myself to, set things up in place and protect your property so that your loved ones could utilize the benefits even after you're not here anymore. So if you have any questions at all about this information that I went over, leave me a comment in the comment section. You can say questions or just ask the question you have, and I can reach out to you individually. I can also speak to you one-on-one and do a free consultation. I don't have a problem doing that at all. I love to let people know what their options are when it comes to life insurance. And how to, have life insurance and let it benefit you and your family in the best way that it can, because it can, right? So again, you do not have to be a millionaire in order to protect your property and your assets and pass them on and make sure your family members are safe and secure with those properties, and have something to benefit off of once you're not here anymore. So leave me a message, ask your question in the comment section. I can reach back out to you. I'll do more videos like this. If you have a question or about a certain topic, I can discuss that topic as well. Just let me know in the comment section. Also, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I also want to start doing group conversations, free consultations with families, because I know how hard it is for families to bring up and have these types of conversations with their family members. So if you have a certain amount of people that you want to get together and you want me to be the speaker to talk to them about insurance, please let me know. Reach out to me. I could do a Zoom call or a Teams call, and I could speak to everyone and just give them free advice and let them know what their options are and, you know, the importance of having insurance. So, yes, a lot of great ways to get information about insurance. Just reach out to me. I could be your future agent. I would appreciate that. My name again is Katrina. If you have any questions, please let me know. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And I look forward to doing many more videos to provide you with information that you probably didn't know you needed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.